Welcome to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast, the show for women who are seeking more fulfillment in life and simply not getting it from their current situation. We focus specifically on careers, but hey, we spend a lot of time in our careers, so making changes here will definitely create an impact in your overall happiness. I'm your host, Simone Morris, and my mission is to empower women to succeed. I believe that in order to powerfully own your career, you must decide and claim that you want to sit in the driver's seat. You must know that you deserve better and be willing to not only do the requisite work, but be willing to go out on a limb to ensure your success. Each episode focuses on profiling a leader who is clearly demonstrating ownership of their career. Join me and my guests as we explore career journeys and bring you actionable strategies to use to get into the driver's seat for your career. Because ultimately, your career is your responsibility. Let's get into the show.
Hey everybody, it's Simone. Just want to say thanks for being a loyal listener for the podcast. I really appreciate you, and I want you to know that we're nearing a milestone. That's right. We're almost at 1,000 downloads for the podcast. I am so excited about that. That means that the word is getting out and people are listening, and more people are moving toward the driver's seat for their careers, and I could not be happier about that. I personally am looking at what time is left for the year 2019. And I see on my calendar that, it's about 4 months or less than 4 months, honestly. I was in Costco just a couple days ago and they had Christmas decorations out. And so I said to myself, oh my goodness, the year is almost over. I've got lots of goals to complete. And I know you're feeling the pressure too, that the year is coming to an end and wanting to accomplish what you set out to accomplish. So I have some good news for you. I have put together a program that it's actually pretty short. It's a 1-hour masterclass, and it's really on how to crush your goals for Q4. Basically, I'm going to teach you how to stay focused on achieving the goals that you set for yourself. What are some tips and tricks that I have done to basically achieve my goals? And I'm feeling like it's been somewhat of an epic year. So I'm excited to teach my listeners and clients these techniques. And so if you're interested in finding out more about what I have coming up, please head over to the SimoneMorrisEnterprises.org website and take a look at my upcoming events on the homepage. And you'll see that I have a lunchtime Q4 goal setting workshop set up. I've got a couple of them set up so you can sign up, and I hope to see you on one of those masterclasses. All right, well, that's it for this week. Have a wonderful week, and I will be back with you next week with a wonderful guest. This week's guest is Hetal Parikh. Hey, everybody, it's Simone Morris, the host of the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. I'm super pleased to have with me this week Hetal Parikh, who is the president and co-founder of Rangam Consultants, Inc. Hetal, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Simone, and it's an honor for me to be here.
Awesome. I want you guys to know that I met Hetal at a business development for women entrepreneurs recently. I met her and her husband and immediately connected and really enjoyed hearing about Rangam and their culture of empathy and inclusion, which are buzzwords for me in what I do, and just immediately followed up with her because I knew there was a great story about her career journey, and I wanted you, my listeners, to learn more about that story and to get some nuggets to apply to your own career. So Hetal, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing.
Absolutely. Thank you. It'd be a pleasure of mine. As you know, my name is Hetal Parikh. I'm the president and co-founder of Rangam Consultants. Rangam Consultants is a minority women-owned, disabled-owned business, and we're primarily focused around workforce solutions, specifically around contingent workforce solutions. Our philosophy at Rangam is empathy drives innovation, and that's part of our DNA. And we exercise that within our core part of our organization every single day. It helps us in everything that we do. So we specialize in attracting and retaining talent at a global level. And we support some of the large Fortune 500 companies at various categories, from IT to clinical, scientific, engineering, healthcare, finance, business professionals.
Wonderful. And where did that passion come from to focus on that as your business?
So we've always had a passion around technology, and as we began to support and service some of our large corporations in their staffing needs, our company really quickly transformed from a traditional staffing company to being a very socially conscious, responsible organization. And one of our mission is employment for everyone, where we truly believe that within the current recruiting model and our structure, there can be some things that we as an organization and as an enterprise that we can do to ensure that we're truly screening people in for their abilities and for their skills and not screening them out. And that's what some of our current recruiting models and our systems typically, unfortunately, really prevents from some of the individuals who are highly skilled and talented individuals to be able to gain access to some amazing, incredible opportunity.
And you guys have been in business over 20 years?
That's correct. We actually started the company in 1995, and we like to put a humor into this where we say it was 6 months before my husband and I actually got married.
Oh, how does that work? I'm curious. How does it work to start a business with your husband-to-be? Because I know on my side, I always get asked, we should put our heads together. So I want to know how that works. And, tell us about the journey to entrepreneurship with your husband-to-be.
I think we have a very good synergy within the two of us, and we have a complementing skill set. So initially, honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you, Simone, I was really too young to even think about this, to say what it's going to be like. But both of us have grown tremendously over the years. The most important factor is that we have a passion around what we do, and we both have a great synergy and harmony with trust. There's always, in any relationship, whether if it's marriage or whether if it's business, in any partnership relationships, those two key factors are the key drivers to the success. And I think we have found a clear path and boundary lines, setting up the right expectations for one another, ensuring that we respect each other's space and our roles and responsibilities. And compromise. There's a huge factor of compromising, really putting together what comes as a priority. And for ourselves, when we're at home, family's a priority. But when we're at work, our corporations, our team members are a priority. So we want to put ourselves aside and our personal differences aside and really think rationally about what it makes complete business sense for the organization and for its health.
Wonderful. It sounds very mature and certainly a journey in terms of relationships.
Definitely it is. I can write a book on that.
I'm sure. Entrepreneurship can be a journey and challenges, definitely. So tell us some of the highlights from that career journey.
So when we first started the company, right, we, as I mentioned, both of us have a technology background, and we're very passionate about technology. And there were two clear goals in mind. How do we connect people with jobs, and how do we utilize technology to create an impact in the world? And one of the areas that we ventured into was the autism community, where we found the technology was underutilized. So naturally drew us towards that particular area to say, how do we help this community and how do we bring them together while they're working with this child on the autism spectrum. So there's various different stakeholders and parties that are involved, and how do we empower them with technology? So those were the two things that really helped us to kind of continue with our journey. we have worked on various different types of programs, developed different types of programs, different types of products and services over the years, from anywhere from developing early diagnosis for children with autism to providing K-12 support on how they can support that individual and that child to help develop their skills in a very holistic manner, using technology where the parents, the teachers, the therapists can come together and under one platform where they can have a synchronized holistic approach in helping that individual develop the skills. So over the years, we have developed several different types of apps and programs and platforms for both on the one side of people with autism, as well as on the side of recruitment and staffing. Credit goes to a lot of the fact that we were part of various different organizations, and there was a strong support of supplier diversity through some various organizations like WeBank, WPO, NMSDC, DA4S, Disability In. It provided us with wonderful platforms, great educational and executive education opportunities for us to be able to position our organization to achieve the mission and the vision we're looking to achieve, and help us to form our organizations for the scaling and the growth opportunity that it was experiencing. So recently we were a mentee for Accenture's, their diversity supplier mentorship program. And through that, also we realized how mentorship is so critically important. So we continue to make sure that both of us are continuously educating ourselves through executive education, but also giving back through the mentorship program. So I am very actively involved in WeBank as part of their STEAM program that they have to mentor other students that are looking to be entrepreneurs and they are passionate around science and technology. I'm also involved in Disability In as part of the Rising Leaders program, where we support, mentor other young leaders in the space who have various different types of disability. And so, as well as NMSDC, I'm part of their Accelerate 2020 program, where I'm the mentor to other MBEs. I feel that mentorship it's a very interesting and very unique, where you learn a lot as a mentee, but you also learn a lot as a mentor when you're in the process of, giving back and paying it forward, as we say. So through those opportunities and again, going back to executive education, I've also been part of Harvard's Business School, just recently graduated from their OPM program, where I had the opportunity to be in a classroom with 150 plus entrepreneurs globally who are pretty much second and third generation. So that also played a key role in where our organization is heading towards as a global national leader in the disability workforce development space, where we've developed and formed various different alliances, partnerships in various different countries that are looking for some of the solutions that we have to offer.
If I could stop you for just 1 second so we can process some of the information, because you've said a lot of great things that have set your business up for longevity, and just, I heard a lot around executive education and just the importance when we think about our careers, whether we're entrepreneurs or not, the ability to invest in our development and really make that commitment, and seeing the returns from that investment, that's been one of the key levers to your success. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That investment in time has been invaluable for our growth personally and as well as for our business.
Yeah, and then what I also heard you talk about was mentoring. I strongly believe in mentoring. I push a lot for sponsorship when I talk to people, because I think there's a disconnect that, some of us don't understand the importance of having an advocate or a champion for us in the career space. So you talk a lot about mentorship. Can you talk about the influence of sponsorship on your career?
Can you help me understand a little bit more what you mean by sponsorship on your career?
Someone who's championing for you, advocating for you when you're not in the room to open doors and create opportunities. I like to say simplistically, if you think about the New York City Marathon, they have tons of sponsors who enable them to be successful. So a mentor could be a sponsor, but I really think that you need someone who is rooting for you other than just you selling yourself in for these career opportunities. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. No, I agree. So in my case and in our case, I would say that plays a key role for us as a technology engineer, having an engineering background and being a technically savvy person. Oftentimes, I feel like we don't tweet our own horns. We have some great solutions, great products, and it may apply to many of the entrepreneurs in the market, in the world, right? Where we have some great solutions and great products, but we have the passion around it. So sometimes it's critically important to have partners, alliances, affiliates, as well as individuals who can champion for you, who would be there for you to give you the path and the direction, who may be able to point you in the right direction at times when you're stuck with something in terms of finding the right answer or solution for whatever areas you are trying to venture as a resource. So what we have experienced as part of the many different types of mentorship and mentoring programs that we have participated is that our champions have true passion around supplier diversity, who have played a key role in understanding and learning about who we are, what we do, what our mission is, and really then positioning us and really advocating for us and pointing us and introducing us to the right folks within their organization or externally from their organization.
Wonderful. I love that. Can you tell us, just from your perspective, what has been the formula for successfully owning your career?
I would say passion is one thing, which I already talked about. Being passionate about what you do is critically important to the success of your business. Oftentimes, we also talk about purpose. When you have a business, if you can ask yourself, why am I in this business? What is the purpose? That purpose drives your mission and helps to drive you to do the hard work that is necessary. Because those are the three key elements of being successful in any careers: passion, hard work, and finding a purpose.
Mm-hmm. And how have you handled, risk in your career? Because you talked a bit before about just expanding your footprint globally and these large organizations that Rangam is working with. How do you, what is the mindset or appetite for handling risk and your advice in that area?
I would say as long as it aligns with the core part of your business, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's always important to be able to understand and identify opportunities that are coming in your way, and really taking that aggressiveness to pursue the opportunity that is knocking at your door. So one of the things that we have always fostered in our organization is new ideas and innovation, and really never shied away from investing into new ideas. Whether if it's coming from our team members or from the leadership team, that is one of the things that we continuously support and encourage.
That's awesome. That I was just thinking of, I think there's some study around Google, just companies who are allow for the opportunity for people to try new things or to fail and learn from those learnings. So I think that's great that Rangam has a culture like that for risk. Wonderful.
And I'm going to be very honest with you. There have been many different products that we have developed in the past. We have failed, and we've continued to pursue new ideas, new thoughts, and we have failed and continued on that path. One of the key things that I always like to keep in mind is that as long as you have a sustainable, steady revenue being generated within the organizations and you are able to have a healthy organization, you definitely want to invest heavy into innovation. And in that, it was what really helps to keep you relevant within your industry, as well as brings in new thoughts, new fresh, and new ideas to help you to continue within your journey and your path. And that's pretty much what we have experienced. Being in the staffing space, it's a very saturated industry. Our continued effort in several different areas of where we have continued to invest in developing many different types of programs and platforms. We have truly been we found our differentiator within the staffing industry and have differentiated ourselves from many different staffing companies as a company that is small, diverse. We like to pride ourselves into saying we're small, but we're mighty.
I love
and we're
that.
agile and flexible.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine that in the early days, the appetite for risk, maybe when the revenue wasn't where it is today or on the journey over the 20 years, may have been different.
It's that butterfly in your stomach will always be there.
Yeah.
But that's one of my professors from Harvard once told me that butterfly in your stomach, you want to convert that into energy, because that's what it is. It's really the anxiety and the fear factor that you face when you're as an entrepreneur, when you feel that little butterfly in your stomach. It's truly the energy. And if you convert that into energy that helps to drive you, you will find some great, amazing outcomes from all of that.
Well, can you share with us one of the ways in which you have converted the energy, the butterflies? Because I think that can apply to those that are listening that are entrepreneurs as well as entrepreneurs. What has worked for you to convert that energy?
What I would say is there are many ways that I actually manage some of the anxieties and the stress. One of the ways that I manage that is through yoga. A lot of people do a lot of thinking sometimes in the showers and the bathrooms. Mm-hmm. A lot of my thinking ideas and how am I going to get through some of the hurdles or some of the biggest challenges that we face comes from my yoga sessions that I attend every day. And on the other side, what I would say is, as far as the butterflies in the stomach, really putting the concentration and using your energy and focusing into the true areas that matter the most, which is what is your organization all about? What is it that you do? If you continue to focus and keep your energy in that area in a positive way, you are converting that anxiety or that stress energy into a positive arena.
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
No, that's wonderful. I don't mean to put you on.
No, that's fine. It was a pretty tough question it takes a lot of self-control, self-management to be able to convert some of those into a positive. I'm a firm believer in positive energy versus negative energy. Negative energy usually brings you down. Positive energy actually brings you and moves you forward.
Absolutely. I agree. I asked the question because it allows me to humanize you as well. You are this fabulous person here talking about Harvard and these companies, and most of us want to be there and are listening to get advice on how to get there. So, I love hearing about yoga because honestly, I don't do yoga every day, but the last time I did yoga, I was like walking on clouds. I was wondering to myself, why don't I do this all the time? Because it just freed me up. So I've got to make more time for yoga. Thank you.
People who know me know that when they see Hetal stressed out, that just means that she needs to go to her yoga session.
Wonderful. I went to I think it was called Hatha yoga. I mean, there's so many different types, but I think that's
Yes,
the one I went
correct.
to. Wonderful. So since we were talking about advice, or that was a nice segue, let's keep talking about advice that you would give to someone who wants to successfully own their career.
I would say listen to your inner self to identify where your passion and empathy lies. That's the cause you should pursue. Number two, determine how to leverage the professional expertise of your business to support your chosen cause. Number three, commit to the level of investment you're willing to make in terms of financial and human resources. Number four is establishing short-term, long-term goals, as well as limits to ensure you move forward without selling yourself short or going overboard. I would say those are four key factors that are critically important as part of what I would say that, as an advice that I would give to anyone. And number fifth, I would say is develop a strategy, programs, and a sustainable plan, and regularly monitor your progress. Oftentimes, you can get sidetracked and go off on tangent. As entrepreneurs, we have some great ideas, great thoughts, many things we want to do and achieve, but really having a focus around certain milestones and making sure we remain focused and keep our team focused is critically important.
Wonderful. That is just such great advice. Finally, as we start to wrap up the conversation, can you talk to us about resources, online or otherwise, that have really been helpful to you in your career? Or you can give us just a few.
Sure. I would say there's many different types of resources I have been very fortunate enough to be able to take advantage of. And as I mentioned earlier, there's various different organizations that I'm affiliated with, and through different types of platforms. Many things that I keep myself sort of up to date on is subscribing to various different industry-related newsletters, podcasts, magazines, publications that not only keeps me informed of what's happening within my industry, but also globally in today's economic world, where the world is headed, and how within my industry, how I can continue to innovate and remain relevant has been critically important. And as far as resources are concerned, listening is a critical factor, listening to your peers, listening to your team members. And one of the things that I get really particularly interested in is listening to the young, fresh energy and young blood, whether if they're just recent graduates or millennials that have been in the workforce. Having to have a different perspective. These are the things that I consider surrounding myself with as resources to make sure that I keep myself educated on all the different areas and aspects.
Wonderful. Wonderful. How can our listeners stay connected with you?
I'm pretty active on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter. Not as much as I would like to. I am getting a little bit more active. So I would say social media is one way to stay connected to me. Following me on all these different platforms, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm pretty heavily involved in a lot of these platforms. I think it's the best media to stay connected.
Awesome. Is it just Rangam at Rangam, or what's the social media handle we should use?
It's Hetal Parikh, and I can send it over to you. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Awesome. No problem.
What my handles are. But what I will tell you is one of the biggest hashtags that I would love for people to stay connected to is employment for everyone. And empathy drives innovation.
That's wonderful. What a wonderful way to wrap up. Definitely, we will stay connected to those hashtags, and we will be continuing to root for Rangam's success. And thank you so much for being a guest on the Power of Owning Your Career podcast, Hetal.
Thank you, Simone, and thank you for having me on your podcast. It's been an honor.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. It is my hope that you enjoyed today's episode. You can check out the show notes for this episode on the SimoneMorrisEnterprises.org website by clicking the podcast menu. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and tell a friend or two about it.